Yes, thank you so much, whoever developed this live stream. And I hope people, when they join the Zoom, it automatically takes them to the live stream because I don't know how we can now continue to post the link on many different platforms. But then we'll even soon finish possibly. But thank you so much for developing the. Thank you, Chidera. I'm sure you have a hand in this. Yes, so the second question, send question and non-read by tutor. I think what we are going to do, we are going to add on the information section that if, I don't know, we need to look at this very critically. We don't want a situation in which we'll now ask participants to be reporting their teacher. But this is something that if it's going to affect your study, there is no harm that you are not reporting. You are just saying that, please, we want to know what's happening that we haven't heard from our teacher for a day or for 2 days or for whatever period that we think if it elapses without any communication that you can write to that particular email or another email that will be provided to say that participants can reach out to find out what's happening to the tutor. I think that's a very good one. I've taken note of it, and we are going to think of how to sort out that particular issue. Then the issue of train the trainer. I think it's very important to understand that if you go through the train the trainer program, it does not stop you from running the mainstream program. But of course, as I've said earlier, if you took a course during the train the trainer that is being taken here, then you have covered that part. But if you have not, because I know the trainers does not take all these domains. That's one of the limitations of the trainers. What we do in the trainers is to teach people how they can become teachers. So that when you are given a course to take on this e-learning platform or any other place, that you have the capacity to be able to tutor others. That is what the trainer is doing. So, but it is not taking us through all the content of the preliminary or the basic. You know that yourself, because if you look at the RCF program, you'll see that there are so many courses that are not part of the trainers. So if you have taken courses there, you don't have to take them here. If you have not taken, for you to sit for a level exam, you must come here and take all those. So for people that started, didn't finish, we are going to, as much as possible, give people the chance to come back because train the trainers is not going to stop. Now we have reached specialist level, train the trainers. So when we are now recruiting new RCF, those that were exited because they failed once or twice, they can have the opportunity to come back and join, and then they will pass through the levels until they get to the last level. I hope, Manir, that I've responded to the things that you have asked.
Yes, sir, you have responded completely. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Yes, divine favor. After you, will take Moses, and then after Moses, my Oga is there. I can see Chief, your hand, Dr. Alexander.
Okay, I can go now, sir. Sir, can I go now?
Go ahead, go ahead.
All right, good evening. Thank you very much for this wonderful platform. So I'll just kind of a follow-up from the last answer you gave. I wanted to ask here, the RCF 20 trainer that's just made mention of, let's say for instance, the RCF was given, there was a certificate, generalized certificate that was given. It was yeah, that's the word. It was a generalized certificate for that you completed the RCF and what have you. And some of the courses that was done, let's say for instance that they are in, let's say, preliminary stages. I want to officially start this one, and they're in preliminary stages. And now, yeah, I think I saw somewhere that you have to upload some certificates. So the question now will be, if I've done a course and it is covered under the RCF, because I see a course outline of all the courses we did in RCF. So, and you've done it, but there's no particular certificate for it, or you already, because for the fact that you've passed the RCF stage, are you going to use that generalized certificate of RCF, or will you now still have to now go and get the one in the platform? I don't know you get my question, sir.
I get it very well. I get it very well. And in fact, as you speak, I'm just putting down some of the things that I'm going to ask the IT people and also the coordinators of the RCF and other trainers to do. The issue of transcript. Because your certificate may not show what courses or what topics you took under a course. And therefore, it's very important that the tutor that is going to assess your certificates and your caseload may need a transcript. So what we are going to do, if you look at the course that I just gave you as an example, no, not that one. Yes, the first course that I showed you as an example that we tried to enroll, you see objectives or topics that are under the introduction of that course. So that will ask the IT people, I said, can you, apart from certificate, also generate a transcript that indicates what courses, so that someone will now have his certificate, but also attach the topics under that course that they took. Now, the same thing also, I know there is a lot of work on our coordinators. Sincerely, Tunmisha, Chidera, Manir, I know Ishaku also is helping Manir in the ACP. It's a lot of work. So maybe what we can do is to have one or two more people to help them. Now, for every course, we now have topics under that course. So that at the end of the trainers, we'll be able to say you have that one general certificate, but you now have a transcript that shows all the topics taken attached to it. So that when you are uploading, you'll upload the two, your certificate, but also the transcript. The same thing with the e-learning platform. You are downloading your certificate, and also you have a transcript that indicates the comprehensive topics that you took for each of the courses that you have taken. So that's a very, very good one. Thank you.
All right. Secondly, I also wanted to ask, as regards to the certifications, downloading certification and all, is there a way which it would be wonderful and nice if, okay, if I've done this course, normally once you download some e-learning, once you download it, you can no longer view that certificate. It is now up to you. So I don't know if the way for like all the courses you've done, that the system will be able to retain your certifications there on the system. So that whenever you come, you see the certification, oh, I can see a certification that has been done, you see all of them. Even if it's 100, all of them will be being stocked there for you. So that anytime you want to come back again and maybe you do not have access to maybe the former ones that you downloaded, you can always re-download instead of maybe you have to retake in the course again to start being able to download. I don't know that you get my question, sir, or my suggestion.
Very well. I get it, and I'll put it down. I'm going to ask the IT people.
Okay, sir.
If they can do that, that would be brilliant, because you have your own profile. So there should be a place where all those certificates should be saved, so that when you go back there, you download instead of going to save it, because that's why you have a profile where you can be able to upload things and keep them, so that when you enter, you just go and get it. I understand where you're coming from, but we'll ask them if it's possible, and then we'll include that as part of what the platform can give you.
All right, sir. So then lastly, as regards to still, or I use the word still train the trainers, for instance, now. Let's say, okay, because there is after BCP, advanced and specialty stage, and all of this is not within a 1 year time frame, if I'm not mistaken. So you have to go by each year. Let's say, for instance, that the advanced, for instance, or specialist, someone started when you started, you were in Nigeria. Now, maybe a year later or 2 years later, while you are seeing the project, you are still progressing in terms of what's it called now, in terms of the levels. Is there a room to consider people outside the country into this? I don't know, again, for the advanced and special, where there will be need for more of interaction and maybe face to face or something like. Is there a consideration for our people based outside the country that wants to still go through the pathway, sir?
Every level people outside the country can join. Because remember, I told you that it's not, if you go to, I think, is it Australia or what country is it? They run a program like this where it's through clinical portfolio. wherever you do your trainings, you put together the portfolio, you can just come and present yourself for exam. If they look at the portfolio and they assess it and they accept it and they give you the exam and you pass, you can be given certification for that level. So it doesn't really have to be that you are in Nigeria. Wherever you do it, it's all about assessing certifications, and it's all about examining you. So when you are examined, I mean, in the board, we register people that study abroad. And when they come, what we do is to do verification. And when we verify them, we now give them exam. And when they pass, we register them. And so that everything should be flexible. Because my thought about this is that medical practitioner professionals, for many years, we have a lot of gap to bridge. And that is why when people keep pointing accusation fingers that we are coming with something new that is competing, I tell them, I said, look, when you are hungry for something, you are not looking at who the competition. What you are looking at is not competition, it's provision. You go to Gaza, you go to Sudan, you go to all these countries. When people are hungry, they don't care who is giving them. What they want is to eat first. It is when someone is full that you now begin to think, okay, who should I accept? Or who should I not accept? So at this point, that for many years, let's support the different programs to be able to cover all the areas of need so that our practice will change. Then it is at that point that we now begin to say that, no, this one, we don't want it. This is the one that we want. Because, for example, I wanted to say this, but now that you have said this one, we are not going to go to a head of service and say, please accept this into scheme of service. No, because as I've always said, for us, the most important thing is to acquire the knowledge, acquire the skills. When you acquire, you have your portfolio, you get to where you want to get to. Then whatever it is that is more acceptable in the country, that possibly scheme of service has in it, then you can go there and say that, okay, I'm presenting myself. Please let me also get through, even if it's an exam that you give me to get your certificate, so that I will go and show it there and get a difference in salary. So we are not going to go into that. So, but what I'm saying is that we are going to open it up so that every single person that wants to acquire the knowledge and the skills, let them get the opportunity wherever they are located, whether they have money or they don't have money, whatever their situation, let them be able to have these skills and the knowledge that they require to change their practice. So at this point, that is the concept, that is the principle. But going forward, many years to come, some years when we have bridged the gap, then we can begin to review the processes of what we should do, what we should accept, and other things like that. Thank you so much, Divine Favor. Moses, is Moses there?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening, sir.
Go ahead, Mr. Moses. You know, you didn't raise your hand, so I have to keep remembering that you said you had.
Yes. Thank you very much for that. I sincerely appreciate. And I will add my voice to the others to appreciate this good work. I think this is a very, very, very good stuff to appreciate. It's going to help us a lot. What I want to ask about is somehow related to what Divine Favor just spoke about retaining the certificate on one's profile. But my question will be coming from a different angle. From what I know so far, when you run a course and you get certified, it comes with a date and a year. And with the certificate, we use it to renew our license. And aside the individual knowledge you gain from the courses and the improvement, we also use it to renew licensing. So what I want to ask is, let's say you log into the profile, to the site, and you see courses that you are interested in running, but then you've accumulated enough CDP points to renew your license, but then you want to run these courses because you want to gain the knowledge, but still we are paying for it and you still want to use it to maybe renew your license for the next time. Is there any way you can leave the certification on your profile, and whenever you get to download it, maybe it comes with a current date or something, so that you don't go submitting a certificate with a very far date and you see contemplating or arguing with the people reviewing it that it's no longer current, or you've used it or something like that? I don't even know if you understand what I'm saying.
Well, I understand very well. I'm going to give you an answer because what you're asking for will not be possible. If you know, the principle is that every year you should update yourself. So if we say do CPD in 2025 to renew license for 2026, then what that means is that if you do a CPD in 2025, you renew for 2026. If you want to renew for 2027, you must do another one in 2026 to renew for 2027. So if the certificate that you have gotten gives a date and it is for 2026, then you can't use it to renew license for 2028. You can only use it to renew for 2027. So that date cannot shift, because what we're expecting you to do is every year you are doing CPD, every year. Because let me tell you, every single year, if you go to databases, PubMed, go to CINA, go to Science Direct, what have you, every single year you are going to see updated version of practice, either assessment or intervention. And what we want to is to continue to do that. Update yourself every day, update yourself every year, update yourself. If you look at the CPD that we asked for, sincerely, it's just to encourage you. But I can't do 45 CPD in a year across all domains, across all areas and that it will be enough for my practice. It's not enough. But I'm happy that you mentioned that if I just want to update myself, not just for license renewal, and I appreciate that. And that's what we want. Let it not just be for license renewal. Let it be because you want to upgrade yourself, you want to change the practice, you want to help patients. That should be the primary goal, not the renewal of license. But to answer your question, if you take that course this year, you can't use it to renew license for the next 3 years. Not possible. Thank you. Yes, my chief, Dr. Alexander.
Thank you very much, Prof. Appreciations for this new development and all of that. It looks like you are taking us back to Physiopedia, or you added a few things together to make this one come up very far. It's a good one, and we look forward to achieving the goals that have been set. That being said, I want to ask a question. A few persons have asked me this question, and I found it a bit difficult to give a direct answer. Sir, what is the bridge at this stage now of professional development of this profession and medical rehabilitation practice in general? The 2030 goal is there, developing ourselves is there, and all of that. So somebody is asking, should I go for master's? Should I go for PhD? Should I go for postgraduate college? Should I do clinical pathway training? What is the bridge between all of this? Some of the things in masters are in postgraduate college. Some of it is in postgraduate college are in clinical pathway, training pathway, and all of that. So what is the bridge, sir?
Thank you very much. Number one, people can do a strategic plan for themselves. You can say, this is what I want to do to develop myself. And in that plan, it can have multiple things that can be included as part of how I want to develop myself. But what is very important is to understand how each can make you develop vis-a-vis your interests and your goals. If you want to go into academia, you do a master's, you do a PhD, you go into academia and research, because master's and PhD, they are academic programs. But if you want to be a core clinician, working in a hospital, treating patients, then you want a clinical program. And therefore, but that's not to say that if you do a master's and PhD, it will not help you in the clinic. It will, but then it's not a clinical program. It's a research program, it's an academic program. But if you want a clinical program, master's and PhD can help you, especially if you have had them. It will help you to move faster in the pathway of getting clinical experience. So, but if it's clinical experience, now you have options. I don't know why this echo is coming. Maybe there's someone that needs to mute themselves. Yes. So you mentioned two, at least now, that are clinical, the clinical pathway and the college. And I've mentioned, and if you go to this platform, you'll see that there are people that want to go for a 4-year program, non-stop. They can afford it. They have the money. I know how much people spend to do the postgraduate program. And it runs within a stipulated time that is put forward by the college. And you must do that program within that time. So if you don't have the funds, or if you have the funds and your location will allow you to be able to go and do it, and your type of work will not impede you from doing it. There are some people that have retired. They are not after going through a rigorous training within a short period. There is someone that is doing their internship or their NYSC, and the criteria does not admit that. So if you know all these factors that I've mentioned, they will allow you to go for a structured program that runs for 4 years, for example. Please go for it. I mentioned this earlier, that we at the clinical pathway, we're not going to go to a scheme of service and say, head of service, put this in scheme of service, and it will start competing with another one that is known in the country to be the one that is accepted as scheme of service. I want to make this very clear. Go for the postgraduate college. Go for the postgraduate college. But if you have not fulfilled all these criteria, you don't have the funds to pay to go to Ibadan or Kano, when you don't have the time to move from your state to go to another state to do the course, or you have retired, all you want is to take 1 or 2 or 3 courses so that you just continue to practice until at some point you say, let me go home and rest. Or you are an intern or NYSC corper that you cannot be able to go for that program, then you have an alternative. We want a situation in which everyone will be carried along. Now, to answer your question, it is up to the clinical pathway program and the college to finalize discussions to see how each can work with each and benefit from each. We have been having meetings, and the good thing is that I'm part of the college and I'm part of the clinical pathway. In fact, I sent a message that there's going to be a training in February, and I'm one of the tutors in the college. I'm going to teach human movement system for the fellows in the college. And I'm teaching the same thing for those that cannot join the college in the clinical pathway. And one of the meetings that we had, I don't know if Chidi is here and Nwanko, the two of them were there at the meeting, that we sat down and said, okay, look, people that get admission into the college, they have the opportunity to do that. Continue. People that can't for now, but they have taken the clinical pathway courses. Is it possible at some point in time that they now take that portfolio and go to the college and say that, okay, now we are ready. I didn't have money, my location was not favorable, my type of work was not favorable. Now that I'm ready, since I have taken some courses in the clinical pathway, is it possible now to present it so that instead of starting afresh, you can now have me in the first year, just like they do in direct entry. So I've done a diploma, I go to the university. Can I go into level 200 rather than starting from 100 level? We have had discussions like that, but the college is looking at the proposal. If at some point they approve it, then we can now have that point where this one can get into at that one. Now, the person that is doing the college at the college, you finish, you have your certificate, but these courses are still running. And at advanced level or at advanced specialist level, there are some courses that are now coming new that you did not take while you are doing your fellowship. Is there any problem if you come down here and you now take those courses and you continue to upgrade your practice for as long as possible? I mean, there are so many ways that we can be able to marry the two, and we are discussing and we'll get there. So please, I know you are an elder and you can be able to make people understand that there is no clash. All we are doing is to have alternatives that are going to give every single medical rehabilitation professional the opportunity to be able to have something. Now, another thing that's very important, we are forgetting that it's not just physiotherapists that are medical rehabilitation professionals in Nigeria. If we are talking about college and clinical pathway, this just relates to physiotherapists. Occupational therapists, I know they don't have any college. Prosthetists and orthotists, they don't have. Speech therapists, they don't have. Audiologists, they don't have. And for us, we want to hold the hand of all our brothers, every single one, and we move forward so that everyone gets to that point that they are advanced in their practice, and the country will get the best out of us, our medical rehabilitation professionals. So thank you so much, sir, for that. I know it is a sensitive one, especially at this point in time, but I assure you that we are not coming with something that will push away another. I want to assure you about that. It is just about ensuring every single person benefits and move forward. I saw the hand of...
Thank you, Prof.
Sorry?
Thank you, Prof.
Oh, thank you so much, sir. Dr. Durojai.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma.
Okay, thank you once again for this wonderful progress in the profession. I know I'm part of some of this, but I wanted to kind of piggyback on a question somebody asked, just to take it a little bit further. So I have 2 points. So one question was, and he was asking about, I know he focused on doing CPDs and can it carry to the next year? I mean, you've answered that. But the part 2 of that question, I think, should have been, if we do CPD courses, even though it's for 2025, isn't that part of your overall portfolio when you now go to clinical pathway? So the date doesn't matter because it's part of your portfolio. That's question number 1. So he has clarity between the two. And then the second point I wanted to make, when they asked the question about online certificates, keeping a record, I think it is possible because in a lot of states now in the US, they have a platform, like in Georgia is, I think, CT Brokers. So I can go back now 10 years and look at all the CPDs I did 10 years ago. So you build a portfolio on your system that is accessible from now till retire. So I know that is being done, and I know it's possible because that's how in America now, once you're, at least in Georgia, let me specify, each state is its own universe. But in Georgia, once you have to upload all your CPDs, and their system, once you hit the number of CPDs you need for the year, it now gives you permission to apply for your license. Without that permission on that platform, you cannot apply for your license. So I know that it might be an added thing that might come later on the platform because everything grows with time. But I know this is what happens there, and they have, a platform that is currently being used, and they've used it for quite a few years, and they've changed users, so to speak, whoever hosts the platform. So I just wanted to add that's what happens in Georgia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Matt. That's also very, very good addition to all that. So this issue that you have just said, the issue of license that has limit with here, clinical portfolio does not have that limit. And I think I've mentioned it severally, that it's very flexible. Whenever you do it, you just have a portfolio you present, and it's accepted in as much as you have done it and that you pass through an exam and you are successful. I also agree that all certificates is possible to have them there. What I should have said is to say, I will ask them how feasible is it cost-wise, because all add-ons will come with cost, but I don't think it will cost much. So if it's not going to cost much and it's something that his expertise can be able to allow for now, will go. He's a very young man. Sincerely, if you see him, you think he can't be able to do anything like that. And it took us a while because sometimes he also has to go back and ask some of his bosses to guide him on how to do things. And that's why it wasn't too costly, because this kind of things, it will have been in millions. But you'll be surprised if I tell you that he asked for only 200,000. And then later, I was one that even told him, I said, all these add-ons, all this work that you are doing, we should add. He said, okay, add another 200,000, we added. Well, of course, we have paid for increasing the capacity and also making it faster. I can't remember the terminologies they use. So everything would have gone up to about 1 million. But I'm when we started Clinical Pathway about how many years ago, the first thing they asked was 1.5. And after that, they now kept asking for add-ons that we had to spend almost 4 million to develop it. But this young man asked for something very little. So we are going to engage him and see how many add-ons we can be able to put there. So I think the last person that we'll take before we go to the next stage, if you agree, we should go to the next stage for the tutors, will be Eunice Akimbode.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Good evening. Thank you for this initiative. So I have two questions to ask. The first one is about the parts under the program, the express interest and start individual course. So I was like following as you were explaining both courses, and I'm not quite clear on when to take which of them. You said something about when to take the enrolled course, and you mentioned a condition for taking the individual course instead. But my question is on the financial attachment to each of those courses. For the enrolled course, I saw that we have to pay 10,000 naira. I don't know if that is the fixed cost or that is until the website is fully ready. And then for the individual courses, I saw some courses at 10,000 naira, 5,000 naira, like that. So my question then is, for the express interest, I'm guessing the express interest takes like we are supposed to take the courses level by level from preliminary to basic to advanced and like that. Does it mean the 10,000 naira under the express interest is for the entire course? But if you are taking the individual course, it means we are paying per course and not like for the entire course as it shows in the express interest. And then my second question is about the date, I guess. I can't quite remember. I was going to ask the other question, but let's I think I'll just leave it at this question. If I remember, I'll drop it on the website, I guess, or I'll send an email later. Thank you, sir.
So let me give you an example. If you go to an institution, want to do a degree, for example, in university, the first thing you do is to buy form. When you buy the form, you complete the form, then you attach a form fee, and you now submit. I don't know if universities now do that, but I know there are programs that when you go, the first thing you do is to buy a form, fill in the form, and then you register, and then they will tell you this is your tuition fee. And then the tuition fee is the fee for the courses that you are going to take. But buying form and getting registered with the institution, you pay, say, 5,000, 10,000, or 20,000, or whatever amount. That does not cover any cost. It is after you have registered with the school that you now begin to pay for tuition for the courses. So that is what that express interest is all about. Now, if you go directly and take a course, you get your certificate, you go away, you practice, you keep the certificate. It's between you and the certificate that you have gotten, and you do your practice, or you go anywhere and you present it. You take another course, you go and practice, you go away. 10,000, 20,000, 5,000, whatever you go. But if you want to sit for an exam for a level, then you must feel the expression of interest. You pay the 10,000, that is just for registering with the program. Then either you are doing it prospectively or retrospectively. And this is what is causing confusion. And I'm sorry, but as I've said, we just want you to be very flexible. If you have taken courses before you register, because if you go to university, you have taken many courses that are part of the program. When you enter the program, can you present them and not take the ones that are there? No. Meaning, just throw them away. You must do it again. But in this one, we are saying if you have taken courses before, pay 10,000, register, then bring the portfolio, take the remaining that you have not taken. But if you have taken all, just present yourself for exam, do the exam, go to the next level. So that 10,000 that you pay and you express interest, it is just saying that you have formally entered the program, registered in the program, to be able to have an exam from one level to another level. But if you don't do that, it's still fine. You just go straight into those courses and you pay 5,000, you take a course. Usually the cost, if you look at it very well, you'll see that 1 week course is 5,000 and 10 CPD. 2 weeks course is 10,000 and 20 CPD. 3 weeks course is 15,000, 30 CPD. 4-week course is 20,000, 40 CPD. So that's how later, but that's how the pattern is now. So if you pay that 10,000 and you still have some courses you have not taken, then you still go and pay 5,000 or 10,000 or 15 or 20 to take the courses that are there. So the 10,000 is just for the form and that you have registered with the school. Because you know, when you pay money for forms, what it means is that there is processing. Someone is going to sit down and look at it and clear you and put you in a class and say that, okay, we are awaiting your request for exam. And when you come for the exam, they will. So the money is just to pay people that are going to do all those processing. It's not that they will just go into someone's account. No, someone must do work and you pay them. I was just praising Chidera, Tunmisha, and Manir, and Ishaku. They have been doing all these things free. No one is paying them. But if you want sustainability, especially for a program that people pay, then you have to start paying for remuneration for the services that people are rendering. So thank you so much. I think I've answered all the questions, and I can't see any hand. Let me just ask, is it all right to just go ahead and briefly show the tutor platform, or should we call it a day at this point?
Call it a day.
Sorry? Okay, we should call it a day?
Let's call it a day.
Okay. So that's fine. So what we'll do, we can have another, and coincidentally, this meeting was supposed to be for the tutors. We added general, and now the tutors have been shipped out. So maybe what we'll do is to release another date where we can have that for the tutors. I don't know when, because we are starting on Saturday. But we'll see what we can do to be able to accommodate the tutors, because we really need the tutors to support us. So thank you so much, everyone. Let me just say this, that this is a system that is just starting, and there are few people that are managing it at the moment. So with all these things that I've said, it might look like it's just going to work as I'm speaking, but it's possible that we'll have hitches here and there. What is going to help us is the number of people that are going to come in to support the system at admin level and also at tutors level. And of course, if we don't have the participants, everything that you do, no matter how good it is, it's not going to work well. So number one, I want to seek for the support of everyone to please help for this system to work as we have spoken, or even better. And number two, please be patient with the system and those that will operate the system. Because I know that I anticipate that there may be some hitches here and there. But we'll always try to improve, because we were not here last year. Now we are here, and we have moved from where we were. And it was your comments and your feedback that pushed us to be able to get to this point, because it wouldn't have happened now. So now that we are here, I assure you, we'll continue to listen to you so that we'll continue to move towards that destination that we all hope to get to. Thank you so much, everyone. May God bless you abundantly. We are going to release another date for the tutors version of this platform. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good night, sir. Good night, colleagues.
Yes, someone asked a question about whether they can start now. Of course, all those ones that are starting from Saturday, you can register for them, because we have tutors that have already started working on them. And then continuing every week, we'll have tutors that are going to continue to work. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Prof. Well done.
Thank you, Prof. We appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Prof. We sincerely appreciate.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Prof. We appreciate.